it has always been the case for me that this understanding of siloed academic disciplines and siloed ethical disciplines, it never made any sense to me. So when I was an undergraduate, I did everything I could to sort of explode the notion that you have to major kind of in one discipline. And similarly, the division of activism on the one side and academics on the other side, it just never made any sense to me. So as soon as I heard about William Stringfellow, for example, the lawyer who was himself a big activist and somebody who manifests the kind of thinking I just articulated. It's like oh my God, there's somebody else out there who gets it, like I do. So I don't remember the first time I protested. It was probably in '72. No, it was before that. I was part of the first Earth Day and then part of the Vietnam War protests when I was an undergrad. But then at Yale, a group of us who were involved with opposing nuclear weapons went down to the Trident subbase and down in Connecticut. And at one point we got arrested there. I don't think we were charged, but the police hauled us off for because they didn't like the sign that we had. Um, and that activity was completely and in a daily way connected with the daily communion service that Henry Nouwen was offering in the basement of the chapel at Yale Divinity School. And there was a group of sometimes as few as six of us and sometimes as many as 12 of us, which is a little hard to imagine. Wait a minute, there weren't 500 people there to hear Henry Nouwen? But it's true. There were maybe six of us or maybe 12 of us there. And at least half of the group, and maybe in some days the entire group, were activists. And to the point of your question, saw the link between the study of theology and ethics and the need to put your life on the line.
Mm.
Um, so in terms of my, actual career or jobs, in addition to teaching and being a chaplain, in 1984, I became head of the Fellowship of Reconciliation, which is the oldest interfaith pacifist group in America, going back to World War One, and a big part of the history of the FOR is engagement in various activist ways. The 40th anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Jim Wallace and I organized a protest at Yucca Flats, where tests were still being conducted in Nevada. And we got Henry to come as our spiritual director. And over 1,000 of us walked the 8 miles from where we gathered to the trespass line. And then about 150 of us crossed the trespass line and spent 3 days and nights in jail. Um, Back to your, the sort of the sort of meta of your question. It always seemed to me that if you hold these beliefs, of course you're going to act on them. And if our society is engaged in a violation of such fundamental and in some ways suicidal, on a broad basis, suicidal things, that, of course, you're going to use the gift of life in order to bear witness against this, for lack of a better term, human tendency that we have, which, again, goes back to my academic investigation of what does it mean
Right,
that this is what we do with our freedom?
right,
Hello?
right.